Start out with item 29 on tonight's agenda. It's Resolution 2022-0016. It was our earlier public hearing. Resolution to confirm and adopt the report of the city engineer containing the schedule of proposed assessments for improvement of West Lincoln Avenue from South 91st Street to South 93rd Street by concrete reconstruction with miscellaneous sidewalk repair, miscellaneous driveway repair, storm sewer relay, sanitary sewer relay, water main relay, building service, and utility adjustments.
Move to approve. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none.
We heard our city engineer already.
Okay.
So I'm happy
It's
about
just kind of a formality thing, Vince.
Yes.
We've been doing it for years.
You got to do what you got to do.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion carries. Item 30, Resolution 2022-0017, final resolution authorizing public improvement by concrete reconstruction with
Move to
miscellaneous.
approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 31, Resolution 2022-0057, resolution relative to the notice of hearing for the vacation and discontinuance of a portion of public right-of-way north of West National Avenue and southwest of South Waukesha Road, requested by David Schneck and Joan Sternweiss.
There's no problem, right?
No. A long time ago, that land west of Waukesha Road, there's a lot of vacant land back there. They were going to have a whole street system back there, and that's what this was just going to be part of it. So we're never going to develop that back.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Yes. Are there any more of those lots back there, or is that it? Is that the last one? Or any remnants back there?
Any others have reserved right away. I mean, yeah,
Okay.
they're all 600-foot lots,
Right.
and yeah, they were going to split
Chair.
them.
Yes.
Basically, is the city firm on this, not expanding
No,
and
no,
and building on that property?
No, I don't think the residents that own those land would want to divide.
Those are huge lots.
They are.
Right.
I think they like them that way.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sure they do.
Is it swampland?
Some of it's wetlands. There's a creek back there, and it's a lot of forest. There's lots of deer, and so I think the people I know on Waukesha like it that way. So
I know. I realize that, but I was wondering if at all it's a probability that they could be
we've
built on.
talked about other streets back there, but not like this, because the school district owns some land back there.
Yes.
So I mean, there were some discussions about
Pretty wet
putting
land,
like, yeah,
Yeah.
but nothing as extensive as this. So this would never be needed.
Okay.
I don't think.
Thank you.
Okay, great. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 32, Resolution 2022-0068, resolution to authorize the purchase of WinCan software lease for a sum of $15,695.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No, motion carries. Item 33, Resolution 2022-0021, resolution to facilitate the purchase of 420 96-gallon and 264-gallon garbage carts in the amount of $34,662.40 to support the 2022 Quality of Life Focus Initiative for the standardization of garbage carts for 1, 2, 3 family residential dwelling units. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
That's about time.
Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
Comment.
Yes, that was comment, not discussion.
Comment. That's
We
comment.
have,
Sorry.
Okay, we'll get to that next. Okay, it's been,
Rosalie, yeah.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Alderman Reinke.
I was going to ask our
Thank you.
department heads, basically, have we had a lot of people asking for carts?
So currently, right now, we have 400 requests
Okay.
for garbage carts at this time. So right now, the initial shipment, I was going to talk about this in the discussion that we made on December 15th of last month, is still being shipped. We expect it either Friday or Monday. So then at that time, we can start the delivery to the patrons, so.
And you mentioned there was a price change?
Yes, given the fees are reflective of the current price,
Right.
purchase price, so we would have to do an increase. The 96-gallon containers will remain the same for $58, but the 64-gallon was $48. That would have to be increased to $52. And that, pending your approval tonight, would be effective tomorrow.
So basically, we are having that
Excuse me?
having that price.
Yes.
Right.
Correct. Yep.
Right,
And then right now, it's half price, yep.
right. Thank you.
So
Mr.
you-
Chair?
You better go tonight and get one. Go ahead, Alderman Grisham. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Dave, just one question. Of the 400 requested, are these those that are not currently in
Roughly.
possession of them? Or I'm curious because I've noticed a lot of people wanting to purchase additional carts, so I want to make sure that we're covered for the amount that we have.
So right now, approximately it's half of those are the individuals that have been identified
Okay.
for not having the city-provided carts. So,
Okay. And are we in good shape that we'll have enough to cover?
yes, we should be receiving, pending your approval in tonight's additional order, we should have enough to cover the, our needs
Okay,
for those
thank you.
individuals, 1,100
All right,
units.
that's it.
And there is a time limit, isn't there, as far as
Yep.
the people will be given a certain amount of time to get these carts?
Correct, that is through May 31st.
May?
May 31st.
Okay.
correct.
Okay. Is there a motion? I forgot.
There was, and a
Oh,
second,
okay.
that was
Okay,
discussion.
great, thank you. Okay, it's been moved and seconded, and when we had our discussion and comments, Vince, so all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Did Alderman Keene want to hear item 34 as well, or just the pilot program one?
I believe it was just item 35.
Okay, so now we will go to item 34, 2022-0156, status of the mayor's initiative for standardization of refuse carts.
So with that, we discussed this a little bit previously with the resolution that was just passed, but I was getting some inquiries regarding the status of the shipment of these containers. The 96-gallon containers, we had to hopefully receive the first shipment that was ordered in December, and hopefully this Friday or Monday we'll receive that shipment. So we have been receiving a lot of phone calls of those individuals that have purchased these garbage carts, and I just wanted to let the public know and yourself know, so you can address those concerns that the carts are coming in. The manufacturer of this cart was very apologetic. They had a plant shut down for approximately 4 weeks due to some issues at their plant, and that caused a delay. So
Okay,
we're working through it.
so this Friday or Monday?
Yep.
Okay, and the patrons will be notified?
What we'll
As soon as
do
they
is
come in.
we'll start the delivery process hopefully early next week, Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
And we will start delivering, first come,
Okay.
first serve.
Okay,
Will this be put on the social media?
Yes.
Very good. I think the people should know the price they will be paying.
Yes, yeah, that'll be updated through the communications department.
That's important.
thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Did you make a motion to place on file? Or was that just discussion?
Place on file.
Okay, I made that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion to place on file. All in favor, any discussion? We've had that. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries to place on file. And we will hold 35 until Alderman Keene comes up. So we will go to,
A temporary adjournment?
yes,
Motion to temporary adjourn the meeting.
Second.
The recess, the meeting.
Yes, recess.
Recess, you mean.
that's a good thing we got it.
All right, License and Health Committee comes in order. All the members of the License and Health are present. So first of all, we move forward with item 37, 2021-0485, notice of non-notice renewal of Class B liquor and malt license for R&K Entertainments Enterprise LLC DBA Slop and Burp Fun Bar, Robert Lucas, agent at 1454 South 92nd Street. Is Mr. Lucas is here?
Yes, sir.
There you are, right? So I want to ask you, are you here for denial or,
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you mean by, what am I?
well, I mean.
Mr. Chair?
Yes. Oh,
Sure, I can have, so this is just the initial appearance for the licensee. All he has to do is just come in. He received a copy of the complaint for the non-renewal last year. He can just simply say, I admit to it, or he can deny it. There's not really a consequence either way for today. If he says deny, it's set for a hearing later on. If he wants to admit it tonight, then we can move forward and the council could proceed with the non-renewal. So it's really up to the licensee what he'd like to say today.
Can you clarify what I'm admitting to or denying? Because I'm not familiar with the
Sure.
process.
So the non-renewal was based upon a single count, and that was not having a seller's
Right.
permit, and that's it.
Right,
And so if you admit to the fact that you didn't have a seller's permit, then the council would proceed to non-renew your license.
right.
If you deny that, then we'd be setting up for a hearing on a later date in which that one issue would be heard through evidence, and then the council would decide based on evidence that both sides provide.
Okay, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but the reason for the non-renewal of the license was because there was an issue with the sales permit from the Wisconsin Department of Revenue. The Wisconsin Department of Revenue is currently holding up the sales permit. There's some tax issues that need to be cleared up. Unfortunately, I've been tied up with some other things and haven't been able to put my full time and attention into getting that clarified.
so the reason was because you didn't pay your,
It was a tax issue,
Tax
but
issue,
not a tax issue that had anything to do with R&K Entertainment. It had to do with another business that was being run by a partner. All the taxes and sales tax and everything has been paid on R&K Entertainment.
Mr. Chair?
yes.
If I may, just to keep in line to what our city attorney advised, is this is to make a motion, basically admit or deny, that would then have to go to a special hearing to discuss any details.
Okay, all right.
So I would refrain from any details.
Okay.
Yeah, so because it really is up to you what you'd like to do. But the state law puts it in a weird situation, which you either have to admit or have to deny the complaint tonight.
Okay. I guess I'd have to admit to it, but I would like the committee to know that my intention is to take care of the matter and go after and have the license reissued, still paying rent on the business and so on and so forth, paying all the bills. So the intention is to reopen the business and have it licensed. So whatever I need to do to go about getting that done. But I guess I admit to the fact that the sales permit is currently is currently in limbo.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
So just because I want to make sure the licensee has full disclosure and understanding, if it's a non-renewal, there actually is a 12-month waiting period before you can reapply for a license in the statutes. And Mr. Lucas, you can do whatever you'd like, but if you would surrender the license instead, you can actually then reapply as soon as you're ready to go.
Okay.
So even though you admitted tonight, I would recommend that you, well, I wouldn't, it's really up to you. But what's going to allow you to do what you just said
Right.
is if you surrender it. If the council non-renews you, you'll have to wait 12 months before you can apply
Okay.
again.
Well, we want to avoid that, so.
So that's why, I'm just trying to think what's a good way to get that done. Would that be your intent, do you think, to surrender instead?
Whatever I need to do in order to appropriate the license in the expediency that,
Got it.
I think it would be the proper process, for you to follow.
And
So would we make a motion to,
so my advice to the committee then would be to vote in favor of non-renewal, but then hold that matter at the council for 2 weeks. That way, Mr. Lucas has 2 weeks to decide if he wants to surrender the license instead and avoid that non-renewal. That would allow him to apply at any point in time in the future for another license.
okay, I would make that motion to non-renew
Non-renewal.
with the stipulation of 2 weeks to come before council, to give
Is that an
Mr.
issue?
Lucas his
that an issue that goes
opportunity
before council?
to do surrender.
All right.
I need a
second
second.
that.
You second it?
Yes.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Mr.
We'll see you
Chair.
in 2 weeks then.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, go ahead.
So, Mr. Lucas, you don't actually have to appear in 2 weeks. If you'd like, you can just notify the city clerk's office and tell them I surrender my Class B licenses. That's all that needs to happen legally is a communication from you to the clerk's office.
Okay.
Upon doing that, you don't have to show up next week, and actually that would nullify this whole thing, so there actually wouldn't be a non-renewal against you because you
Okay.
already surrendered.
All right, I appreciate that.
Okay?
Thank you, Attorney
Thank you
Decker, for the
stopping in.
clarification.
Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas.
So we move forward with item 38. It's 2022-01-2222, new Class B tavern license and public entertainment permit for EXC Investment, the DBA Can Bar and Grill, 6922 West Orchard Street, West Dallas, Wisconsin, 53214. Agent Edwards Jones, public entertainment permit to include jukebox, DJ bands, karaoke, patrons dancing, instrumental music concert, the pool table, and amusement machine. You're the man, eh? You're the man.
I would be the man.
You'll be the man. So, do you have any previous?
Yeah, the old colony where you guys used to hold your city meetings. I had that back 15 years ago, 10 years ago, right after Bill's.
Bill?
Yep, right after Bill passed away. I had that for just under a year, and then I sold it because me and my wife at the time got divorced.
Okay.
And now, me and Kat here, we've been together 8 years. We're not married. We're both divorced. We have Lemansky's Pub, which I'm sure you heard of on 89th and
Yes.
Greenfield.
Oh, sure.
So now we're looking to expand.
To expand. Any questions from any committee members?
Have you sold the colony? Did I understand that?
Oh, I didn't own it, I just leased it out when
Oh, you
Bill,
leased
it.
yeah, when
Yeah,
Bill passed away, I leased it out because they sold it to some other family that they were
Yeah.
doing bakery out of the back, so I just leased the bar area from them.
I see.
Yeah, they're not doing
Has
anything.
this been
there, no.
a problem bar?
Oh, the one I'm
In the
taking
past?
over now is Tanner Paul, the American Legion.
Oh,
That's the
I
one
see.
yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna try to bring it back to how it was when it was Tanner Paul with the fish fries and everything.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I just have a question.
Yes.
When you expand the business, obviously you have 2 locations. It's always real important that we have owners present also and very involved in their businesses. With the partnership that is
Yes.
this a partnership that you're going in
Yes.
together?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you'll both be overseeing both
Yes.
properties? Okay.
Correct.
All right, that's it.
So questions that I have for you, what's the time for you have to say the band, I mean, is by 10 PM, 11, 12, or?
It's usually between 10 and 11, around 10. I like
Around
that.
10.
Yeah, we have bands.
Because the senior complex, just a little bit.
Yeah,
north
right behind
of
the
you.
building.
So in the past, I mean, I did receive some complaints in reference of
The bands are mainly, we did that because
Yeah.
people are renting the hall upstairs, and if
Yeah.
they want to have music for their wedding or whatever they're doing, that's why we applied for that.
So if you could be more conscientious about the people, the senior that live just next door. you know?
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
So hopefully we
there
won't
a
see you
motion?
another year, I mean, for complaints,
Oh,
okay?
Mr. Chair, I believe
Yes.
there was a motion
Motion to
by,
approve.
Yes.
and I'll second.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Hi,
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Best of luck
Good luck.
to you.
all right, thank you very much.
good luck.
Good luck to you. All right.
Everybody's going to start doing the wave back there.
So we're moving forward with item 39, 2022-0026, 2021-2023, new operator license, bartender class D operator application for Angela Krishy. She's not here again, eh?
I would ask for her. I'm not sure what she looks like.
Yeah, she's, I believe we can move for denial of the license, really.
Move for denial, Mr. Chair, based
was a
on
second.
two
An
non-appearances.
appearance, you know, so let's move.
Second.
All in favor of denial of the
Aye.
operator license?
Mr. Chair, may
Yes.
I ask now, being this is denied, this now goes into that 6-month rule? Is that where we fall?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
she cannot apply again
She
for
can
6 more months?
apply again,
Okay,
you know.
all right, thank you.
Okay. All in favor of denial?
Aye.
Opposed? The aye have it. Thank you. So then we move on with item 40, 2022-0052, 2021, and 2023 new operator license bartender class D operator application for Adrian Rodriguez. Adrian, she's here?
Okay. Is this the same scenario?
Same thing, I believe, based on some of the convictions, you know. Yes.
He was not here at the last meeting, but he was in the council chambers, so
Oh,
I'm
so there
not
was some
sure.
confusion.
I talked to him, so I'm not sure why he's not here now.
He's not over there right now, is he?
I'll go check.
If I could just recommend to the committee to table this one for now and move on.
That's what I thought.
I think that's
Let's
what we
table
should
it.
do, you know, based on
Okay.
what I read, you know.
Then we'll move on to 41.
Okay, we table that at this time. Okay, let's move on to item 41. 2022-01-073, 2021-2023 new operator license, bartender class D operator application for Zachary Venterel Linton. She's here?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
He's requested that this item be held. He's not able to attend tonight.
So we should hold it for, give him a chance for next time, right?
Mr. Chair, I would approve, I would make that motion based
Second.
on the fact that he made a mistake the last time, so this really would be his first non-appearance.
Okay,
I'm talking to, I'm sorry,
okay.
So,
number 41.
Number 41.
and Mr. Vanderlyn, this will be his first
Right.
appearance. He's just requesting a delay till the 15th so he can appear. He was unable to appear tonight.
Yeah, that's fine.
So does that count as a non-appearance?
The non-appearance is really up to you to decide if you want to do that, but I would say no. I would
okay,
suggest
that's-
no.
I heard two no's. Okay, fine.
And for item 40, we're not able to find Mr. Rodriguez.
Okay.
So
So we give him a chance, 40 and 41, right?
Well, I think we were just looking,
separate.
yeah, we'll do that separate.
Separate. then,
So
yeah.
41 was a motion to hold.
Yes. So we hold that one. So then we,
So if there's a motion to postpone until the 15th, that you could vote on that one?
Was there a
Okay.
second yet?
There
yeah,
wasn't a second.
for 41, for 41.
Okay, there's been a motion and a
Adrian
second.
isn't present
All
right
in
now.
favor to hold it until the February,
We're on 41 right now. and we'll go
I know,
back to-
but she was going to check and see if Adrian
yet.
was here.
so it's been an motion second to hold it until the next.
He's not here.
He's not here, so.
Okay,
Sorry.
Okay, there has been a motion and a second,
Second,
and we
so-
need a vote. So all in favor?
All in
Aye.
favors?
Aye.
I,
Oppose? The aye have it.
Sorry about that, thank you.
So now you want to
And
go
then
back to
number
40?
40.
40, okay.
Motion to deny.
Second.
All in favor of the motion of denial?
Aye.
Aye.
The aye have it. Then we move on, item 43, 2022.
42.
42.
42, I mean, I'm sorry about that. 21, 20, 23 new operator license, bartender class D operator application for Sean Murphy. Is here? I can't believe it, they all applied for it, but they didn't have no time to show up.
This first time or second time?
first time.
First time.
Well,
Well,
we're pretty good about giving a break here and there.
He has some few records, you know, so I wonder if, I believe we can move for denial. I mean, it's up to the members.
Let me review. Okay. Okay,
Are you moving, Mr. Chair?
yeah, you have the floor to make that motion if you wanted to.
I'll make a motion for denial for
I'll
Mr.
second
Murphy.
it. He has,
All in favor?
All in
many
favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The aye have it. Thank you.
It's on the police report.
Yes.
Correct.
So then we go to item 43. 2022-0101, December 2021, Police Department Tavern Violation Call for Service Reports. So I believe we can
Motion to place on file.
place on file.
Second.
All in favor of the motion to place on file?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Then we move on with item 44, 2022-0184, communication regarding environmental nuisance prevention and control efforts. Oh,
What is that about?
That is for the Health Department.
Health
So,
Department, Bob.
Commissioner Elisha.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Bob.
Hello, hello. So yeah, in front of you should be just an update on the current, otherwise known as the rodent or rat abatement project that's tied to the city strategic plan. And so the health department has primary responsibility for trying to move that process forward. And so to this point, just want to share with you that we've actually convened a meeting with representative department heads, actually two over the past couple of months, and really have just kind of done some initial scoping of who's doing what at this point with regard to I just observed rodent activity and the various actions that the various departments are actually implementing at this point. So those at the table to this point have been representation from the health department, from BINS, city administration, the attorney's office, economic development, planning and zoning, communications, and DPW. And so we're looking at this approach as being one that's really going to be comprehensive and requiring many departments to be involved, and really kind of recognizing that health and DPW are just really not able to effectively address all of the issues having to do with the presence of rodents, in the city. So we've kind of done some level setting to this point and just talked about the approach, that being comprehensive and integrated. So really beginning to have the conversation with departments about how we can work closer together on response to identified rodent activity. So that's kind of focusing on some of the rodent control, but then too recognizing that it's not just about control. In order to try and get ahead of this problem, we also need just to have a very aggressive prevention strategy. So part of that just kind of focuses on what we are now doing, in particular with regard to a lot of education, but then also in that context, talking a little bit more with kind of city attorney folks on just, I think, the need to raise more awareness on some of the ordinance and some of the policy-related language that's currently in place. So City Attorney's Office has expressed an interest in taking a look at current ordinance as well, to look at how the verbiage might be reinforced or modified. Not sure what that really means at this point, but it's going to be something that we'll take a look at. Nick Serwin has been involved in the two meetings to this point, and I assume will probably be part of the process moving forward as well.
Mr. Chair?
yes. Question.
Thank you, Bob, for giving an update. Now, you've had two meetings, and it looks like it's going to be all hands on deck, which I truly appreciate as a resident as well. Is there any timeline that we're looking at, an actual action plan that comes forth from this? I mean, there's going to be a lot of moving parts, obviously.
Yeah.
But being this is the mayor's initiative for this budget, and we've had two meetings and we're into February, where can we look at there's going to be an action plan put forth?
Yeah, well, certainly our goal is to have a report or a plan by the end of the fiscal year in alignment with the current budget that's available to support this. I guess I would not be surprised if we see that sooner than that, just kind of recognizing, the way that the progress or process is moving forward to this point.
Bob, you know, I you know, and I appreciate, like I said, to look forward and find some, you know, concern that we have. I think myself on the East End, of course, you know, I think get some calls, but I still I look at it that there's some extravagancy within many residents, really, whether it's the first or second, on and on, because if people will maintain their property the way it should. But when I go on 63rd, 64th between Arthur and Hayes, and I go behind the building, and I see holes below the air condition and towards the foundations, like this, you know, and you tell me that the landlord, there's a duplex, I mean, and the tenants is complaining about it. Actually, I bought the lady, she's on a fixed income, very hard. So I went to buy some poisoning, you know, and Menard. And I took it by her, you know. I mean, what was shameful, really. And what it is that people don't pay attention. They throw anything in the yard, like a pile of wood. They got all that thing that don't belong there. That's why they arboring. I mean, that's a good place for them to perspire, to grow, you know, to multiply, just like rabbits. Same thing, you know. And maybe it would be a good idea, maybe not, you know, not put in the middle page of the quarterly letter that we send out to the citizens. Maybe it should be something right in the front page. I think we could do. I think it will be anybody who gets that from the mailbox, they see it, you know. You know, to remind them that's an issue, it costs money. Bob, about 2 years ago, or more than 2, we spent between Mitchell and Burnham to 67, 60, and Mitchell and Burnham, we spent over $20,000 to put poisoning in the catch basins, you know? So what it is, I mean, it comes right from backyards. The way people maintain their properties, really. I mean, I have to be clear about it. I mean, I don't have to beat around the bushes. That's a problem that's causing many complaints that I had, you know, throughout, you know, even last week on 63rd and Mitchell. You know?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
If I may add to that, and I appreciate your input on that as well, it's not a singular issue. Obviously, we all know this, and that's why there's a lot of moving parts. I think these collaborations are very helpful because one hand knows what the other one's doing. I do believe that communications to our residents is key. It is a big people problem as well. And I keep trying to put that focus out there that it's not just the city's job to fix the problem when we create the problem ourselves as taxpayers ourselves. So we all have to take responsibility, but I appreciate you coming forward tonight and sharing the progress on that. I, of course, don't have the patience for year end and would love to hear it come forth sooner, but I understand in order to make this happen, we have to really target the problem. But I would like to see a bit more resource to our residents that they at least have that communication and factor in. And I know we have great field inspectors and just get that word out to people who feel that we as a city don't care, because we do care.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah,
Okay.
our intention to keep the process moving forward and expedite it as much as we can.
Super. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Bob.
Bob.
Stopping in.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
currently, could you expand a little bit about the program you have in place right now?
Well,
I mean, we
so-
are doing something.
Oh,
I
certainly,
know
yeah,
that we're
that's-
waiting.
That was identified
Yes.
and certainly, I think, recognized as part of the review process. I mean, Health Department does a lot of the education and awareness raising at this point, but I think to the point that, you know, Chair Vitale has you know, kind of raised, are there opportunities to be more aggressive and more broadcast in that information to the residents? Yeah, we are in many respects dealing with a behavioral issue that, you know, kind of boils down to the individual owner or the resident of that property. So that's a real challenge. So we address that as, you know, as a health department regularly. That only goes so far with certain individuals, and so then what is then the next more aggressive step that we can take, you know, to put a little bit of teeth behind the education that we're providing. And then too, I think it also then needs to be recognized that the city has made its investment, you know, in the refuse containers. So that was recognized, you know, as part of a strategy, you know, to address the rodent control issue. And, you know, so there were certain DPW, they bring in pest control companies when they, you know, are out in the field and help to try and control for some of that activity. And so, yeah, there is a fair amount of activity already happening. But I think at the end of the day, it was just, you know, recognize that is that there's opportunity to collaborate and partner more as departments on this from a comprehensive perspective and be more integrated in terms of our approach. So,
Any more questions for Mr.? No? All right, thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
sure, thank you.
So I don't think it's just a communication, so we don't have to do.
Just place on file, right?
Place on file? Yeah, we can place
Is that all we have to do, is just place on?
Yeah, place on
make a motion to
file.
Place on file.
Second.
All in favor? To
Aye.
place on file? Opposed? The ayes have it.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Do we
Thank
want
you.
to
Should we
handle
go back
those?
to
Yeah, do we wanna handle-
Public Works before we hit
I think we
advisory?
should.
Yeah.
Okay.
Handle the next public, okay, we'll reconvene, and none of you left, so we're still all here.
Yes.
We'll go to item 35, 2022-0157, status of garbage and recycling pilot program, and we have you.
Hi again, Dave.
Anybody else want to sit up here? Do you, Mayor, or you want to just?
Mayor Devine, would you
You're
like
more
to
than
join
welcome
us?
if you want to come up here.
Want me to, or I can answer from here?
You
Sure,
can answer
whatever
from
you
there
wanna
too.
do.
You look pretty comfortable there, but
I know, you want-
Circulation going again?
you want to see the mayor just relaxing more, you know what I mean?
So we tried to strategize for a reduction, possible savings that we could create, identify in some of our processes at the Department of Public Works. And one of the processes that we looked at was snow plowing, refuse, recycling collection during the winter months, especially when there's plowing demands on the employees and expectations of the patrons throughout the city. So the idea was that we would skip holidays, collections, as well as any severe winter storm that we experience. So in the past, we've had approximate cancellations of garbage refuse collection 1 or 2 times a year. And we usually made up those collections on a Saturday. So now with this, with the reduction of staffing and expectations there to keep collection running, we just can't maintain 2 services of the plowing, salting operations of a large severe storm, as well to maintain the collection services. So we're looking at the holidays. Last year, I believe there were 7 holidays of not having collection during those times. We would save approximately $40,000 in overtime. So if we skip those type of collection dates, this year there's going to be 8 holidays. So the mayor, in talking with the mayor, he recommended just having a pilot program for only the month of January. One holiday, Martin Luther King Day, and we would try this. And we did have a no collection for that Monday. The following Monday, we did collect that area, which was on the west side of the city. And we experienced an increase, obviously, in refuse collection, but we also had stormy weather, which was a lot of labor intensive for the crews. So we had a lot of phone calls from patrons communicating their displeasure of not having that, routine collection. There was issues of communication, information that was going out. There was issues of leaving containers out for multiple days, aesthetically pleasing. The weight increases, again, was an issue for our employees. So we kind of looked at it, and with the phone calls, the mayor and I, we did have discussions, and we kind of weighed the pros and cons, and we experienced, well, our department alone, it's been estimated about 350 to 400 phone calls. So with that, we kind of talked about, I guess what our options would be, but we did want to try this to at least be fiscally, responsible, but again, it didn't turn out, I think, what we expected.
But we tried it.
We did.
Mayor Devine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I guess, like Director Wepping said, last fall, we were looking at ways to fill that $1 million gap we had in the budget that we all heard about, we all were aware of. And, we tried something that I would say probably 20% of the contacts I had were appreciative of the city trying to do something that was being a good steward of the taxpayer dollars. I think our biggest glitch on this was communication and relying too much on the digital strategy of it. I think back to the communication survey that we did as a city 3 years ago, I believe it was, and the responses there indicated a lot of people got their news off social media. Now, the city newsletter was, I think, #1, but obviously that's also been a subject of the budget challenges because I think it's down to twice a year now as opposed to quarterly, which it used to be. So everybody I talked to, I'd ask them, if you were aware of this, do you think you could have managed it better? And I would say half of those people said if they were aware that this was coming and they were not putting their carts out wondering what was happening, that they may have been able to manage a week without garbage. But then I also heard some people really struggled with their recycling filling up and their garbage was okay. And then another half had the opposite effect. So we tried it. I don't think it worked the way we envisioned it. At this point, outside of maybe a cancellation for a significant snowfall, I have got no interest in trying it again. I did reach out to the 5th and 4th district. I don't think there was any Monday in the 3rd, was there?
There is not a Monday in the
so I reached
so
out
we weren't
to
impacted that one.
Alder people from the 4th and the 5th, and just, Alderman Rote and I exchanged
It was the
a few
newly
emails.
acquired area, too.
Oh, yeah. So they all know you now.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, it just didn't, it did not have the effect I hoped it would, and it did not go the way we planned.
I appreciate that we try, and
Yeah.
that's what I try to encourage any of the residents to understand, that it's a pilot program. It's a test run. It wasn't set in stone, so I appreciate us being more fiscally responsible too.
And if I could, Mr. Chair, I think a lot of the lack of communication, a lot of the people calling thought it was already going to be all year.
Yeah, I know.
They did not know it was just
Right,
in
that
January.
was-
And by the time I called, they're like, this is going to be over Monday.
It
So
was,
it's,
it was a panic-stricken state
Yes,
for a
because
lot
they
of
were
our.
looking ahead to the 4th of July, they were looking ahead to this, and it's
Oh, yeah.
like, it's going to be over by then. It's
Another
not.
point, too, is our drivers can only drive for 16 hours.
Yep.
Then they're done. We have nothing to say about that. There's some other aldermen, and do you guys have any comments? Alderman Weigel.
I would just add, we had a really mild winter so far with what we've had in the past with major snow operations. And if you realize that if we had weekends are 2 of 7 days of the week already anyway, so if we had a heavy snow on Saturday and Sunday, the streets had to be plowed, and we burned up a lot of driver's hours, and there's nothing available for the garbage trucks on Mondays. If this goes back to back, week to week, you'd have people conceivably having their garbage sitting at their house for a month. And that could be really messy.
And I don't think we ever envisioned it stacking like that. If there was a holiday, then a blizzard, I think we would make efforts to catch up on something like that.
Mr. Chair, if I may, this was brought to my attention too, and I've been a resident here for a long time, and it just goes to show as far as how much I know, even as an alder sometimes in learning. We have an ordinance on the books right now. The reason why we have the carts that we have is we should be able to house 2 weeks worth of refuse. So if the worst case scenario came along and there was that blizzard and we had to miss a collection, our residents should be in good shape. to kind of echo the fact that we're also giving an opportunity for those that, because I fielded calls, well, I have a family of 5. That garbage cart isn't going to work for me. Well, you can have 2 per residence. So you may want to take a look at that and take advantage of the opportunity to get an additional cart if you feel your singular cart isn't going to meet your needs as a family. So, but I do agree, the communication, if that does happen, needs to get a little bit more improved on that end.
And if I could, Mr. Chair, there was also discussion of, we're trying this with an estimated savings of $4,000 to $5,000. Then do we want to spend $3,000 of that sending out letters? So
Right,
that would just
exactly.
instantly taking away
yeah.
the savings we
Right.
were hoping to capture. So,
a wash.
maybe in hindsight, we could have done that and then
Right.
had some long-term gains going forward, but, I mean,
I think we have
it's
some
February.
ideas among some of these council members too on communications that could go forward too. For another time, we can discuss that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Alderman Vitale.
in all fairness, I believe, the way the city have been operating, with the 90-gallon garbage or recycling bin, in all fairness, I agree that from Alderman Christian that she stated the fact that the garbage sometimes doesn't get really that filled. If you got a huge family, maybe it gets filled up. But in general, really, I go in my block, a lot of those garbage cans, lucky if they're half full or less than that, really, in the area, there's a duplex too. So to me, if we do miss a week, I don't think it's a big issue. Maybe it will be an issue for people, they have a driveway and they have to take the garbage because they know that they have to put it by the curb. That's maybe an issue, But maybe it could be informed in case of storms. Again, the quarterly letter, I think, magazine that we provide to the people, I think would be ideal. In case the city has to delay 2 weeks, well, you don't have to move the garbage if you have a driveway. And to me, it would be a solved situation here. Because, again, we talk about not for this year or the last year budget, but we talk for the future. To me, if it would be a savings cost that would help us in case in the wintertime that we have to delay 1 week, to me, it's not a big issue, really. To me, it would be something that could be accommodate, really, in all fairness. It could be maybe, say, 100 families. They have, like older person Christian said, they have 5 people or 6 people. Maybe their garbage fills up a lot quicker. But the bottom line is, we have to look at it, provide the same service. But if we have a emergency, will be a week delay. To me, it doesn't kill anybody. It's not a biggest issue, really. It's not. I'm not an expert on pick up garbage. I'm not. But I could pick up garbage if I have to,
Well, there's short help down there, Vince. They're looking for people.
Get him a vest.
Go ahead, Dave.
You're hired.
I just want to echo the sentiments of Alderperson Weigel indicating that, again, with staffing, but just because you do suspend, you still need that weekend or that time frame, and you're hoping that a storm doesn't come by and wipe out that opportunity. The second week thereafter, we had that 3 or 4 years ago, where we did not collect a portion of the city for recycling because 2 consecutive collection times for that area, they were, we had a large snowstorm. So it is something that, given the staffing limitations that we do have, at some point in time, my job is going to be recommending, do we collect or do we keep the drivers fresh for plowing and salting operations? Secondly, I just want to give a big shout out to the crew persons, the employees at the Department of Public Works. They tried this, and I know they were hesitant on that, but they did the work. They went out there, they collected the refuse and recycling. We had maintenance repairs in our street division assigned to garbage and recycling routes. We had individuals from facility and signs filling in. We had extra drivers collecting for and helping out on some of the routes for recycling. So during the time that we were picking up refuse, the weights were normally 46 ton. For that day, it was 100 ton. For recycling, it was 20 ton and it increased to 31 ton. So we did have a larger snowstorm, about 3.5 to 4 inches. And after those individuals were collecting refuse and recycling, then they were tasked with plowing. So kudos to them, and I thank them for at least trying.
Good job.
I think it's wonderful that people come up with new ideas, and I commend anybody who came up with this idea to try it. A pilot was the way to go. I'm glad it wasn't extended any longer because I have never received as many calls as I did with this pilot program. Between the emails and the calls, it was unbelievable that people didn't understand, but I think what was most important is they didn't know about the pilot program. They did not know this was happening.
Yeah.
And that's probably why they were very, very upset about the whole situation. The mayor had contacted me and I gave him an earful because it.
Oh, I've had worse.
I don't believe that from you,
I
Rosalie. I don't.
It indicated that.
I don't.
And I'm sure both of you received many, many calls. The brunt of it basically was, I think, the 4th and 5th district. Because we were impacted, that was our day for collection.
Yeah.
And it just didn't go over very well. And that's all I got to say. It didn't go over very well. But at least we tried. We know we want to save on taxes for our people. And any suggestions that are made are great. We need those suggestions. If we try, it's great. It didn't turn out. Maybe we can do with suggestions a little better the next time. But I admire you people because we tried. And that's what's important. We tried, and obviously it didn't work the way we wanted it to. And I have to applaud the employees. You were short-staffed and under a lot of pressure, but they performed well. They performed well. This Monday went very well, I have to say.
So,
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Alderman Vitale.
we want to linger this for a while yet, do you? But it's okay, I got the last.
I got to be home by 11, so you got.
But anyway, the fact is that we do have really a good crews, you know. I mean, for over 30 years, you know, we have 20-some people covered 12 square miles of West Dallas for garbage and recycling pickup. Is that correct?
It's 17.
17. See, I mean, I added 3 more, but 17. Years ago, we used to have almost nearly 50 people pick up garbage in West Dallas. There was no recycling back then. 50 people we used to have. And now 17 people there take care of recycling and garbage. So my question is, like I said early, it's not an issue for us to, if it's an issue to pick up garbage for 1 week, really. I think we can stood up, yeah. So I'd like to make an motion to place on file.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. No discussion, okay?
nope, we're good.
Are you joking, or?
No, I just, I honestly, I'm going to be very brief on this, but I'm going to never miss an opportunity to say this, but I'm going to say it again on the record that I'm reading more articles about the state having this huge surplus, and I'm really not seeing any bumps in any aids or shared revenue or anything from them. So I will encourage not only everybody in this room, but everybody on this camera to contact their state legislators and let them know that the money coming to them is coming from cities like West Allis, from money spent in West Allis, and this goes for Kenosha, this goes for Appleton, this goes for La Crosse, this goes for Mosinee, this goes for Sun Prairie. Every city in the state is contributing to the state, and the state is not returning that money. So I just want to take that
It goes for
opportunity.
education just as well, too.
Once
It's not
again,
just-
well, yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
for
all I got.
everything,
I'm
really.
done.
Thank you, Mayor Devine.
Okay, it's
Thank
been
you.
moved and seconded to be placed on file. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Motion adjourned.
Opposed?
Second,
Motion carries. Motion to adjourn. We are in adjournment, and
advisory.
Alderman Vitale, they start at 7.
So if you want to help.
No, so if you're going to be down there, be there
I
at
will.
7.
Maybe you can assist me, maybe pick
okay.
me up. We
Now we got-
both go there.
We have
We got advisory
advisory.
now.
Okay, let's get started with
Both of us go
advisory.
there.
Advisory come to order. All members are present on the committee. Number 45 is a resolution establishing polling places for elections. So I will ask either our city attorney or our city administrator to
Rebecca's on
expand on what have you come up with.
So, I'll start and Kale can add if there's anything. We met with this committee last time. We talked about the polling locations that we were looking at. And there were some suggestions from the committee that we look at different locations, one of which was St. Rita's. Another was the school administration building. The school district has okayed the use of Frank Lloyd Wright, so we have that. We're not able to use the school administration building because it's under remodeling or construction. It's not able for people to come in there.
That's the one on Lincoln?
Right, 93rd and Lincoln.
Right.
So we looked at an alternative to that location, Mother of Perpetual Help. I believe it's on 103rd and Lincoln. It's by the
That was
Holiday
the
Inn.
Mary Queen of Heaven. It used to be
Yeah,
before
no,
the
it's-
Tri-Parish.
It was hard to identify the name.
Yeah.
But they've agreed to allow us to use their gymnasium, which is separate from the church.
Yep.
And there's a large parking lot in front of there. So we don't have the final list for you to make the decision tonight.
Okay.
Because we just got this information today. But we will be bringing the option at the February 15th meeting. I'll meet with Kale and Gina and Jenny in the clerk's office, and we can probably come up with 2 different options, one based on parking and the other based on, I guess, our staffing for poll workers. It's sometimes a challenge to have a large number of people at a lot of locations that might not be the best qualified or have a lot of experience working at the polling place. And as you know, I think I said this last time, each election is becoming more of a challenge, and we have to make sure that there's competent people and that we do things the best that we can. So we'll probably bring you 2 options on the 15th. Hopefully we can have them sent to you ahead of time so you can look at them.
Madam Chair? Rebecca, I just have, thank you. I just have one question. What is, do we have a number of how many we would like to add? Because right now, based on what we had done, we did the high schools, and we had Frank Lloyd Wright in the last election, didn't we? Or was it just Hale Lane? And it was Hale Lane,
We had
and
5 locations.
we had 5 locations.
Yeah.
So how many are we looking to add?
Now we're moving to 8.
Right now, we've got the senior center, the rec center, City Hall, Central High School, Lane Middle School, Frank Lloyd Wright, Hale, and
Mother
Mother of Perpetual Help. Is Rita's, did they respond yet?
They cannot.
They cannot,
not do
okay.
it.
So Rita's is out.
So we have 8 then confirmed. Let's see, that would put us at approximately 3 wards per site. The way to, and kind of what Rebecca was saying, there's 2 ways to do it. Either you can evenly balance out the number of wards and population and then try to staff them all equally, or what you can do is acknowledge that some chiefs are just really well organized and can maybe supervise more people than other chiefs might be able to, who might be newer or might need more experience. And so you can actually focus things based on parking availability and capacity, and then put more staff in that location and maybe less staff in a less populated area to sort of naturally let that filter out. So those are the two options we'll likely be presenting, is one more evenly distributed and one that's more ranked in capacity and availability. And at that point, I think the council will make a choice, hopefully by next meeting, because we do need to establish them by, I think, the
Yeah.
March 1.
Yeah.
Time is of the essence. Now, would we look at placing this on file or hold it? Or,
I would hold
I'd
it.
ask to hold this to
Yeah,
next
hold
meeting.
it.
okay, I make a motion to hold it. Do you have more? Okay, Ann?
Rebecca has asked to speak.
Thank you.
I just wanted to mention that we're going to be purchasing additional Badger books. Now, those are the ones where people come, when you come into the polling location, we check to see that you're registered and things like that. When we have more people coming to vote on election day, it takes a little bit longer to register people. And I was at Hale at the last presidential election, and there were so many people that were registering. We were using 2 of the Badger books, and it was just getting so far behind. I think your wife was helping me.
I think you're right.
She saw that I was having a problem. But so if we get more books, we'll have more people, the Badger books will have more people that we can hopefully get through quicker. So,
Yeah, last question, Madam Chair.
Okay. So we need a motion?
No, I have one
Oh,
question.
you have?
For
All right.
Rebecca,
Alderman
what would
Vitale.
be the, I know the Liberty Heights Pavilion is not that great, you know, it's not in good shape, but I wonder if we could held the election there, I mean,
I think the biggest challenge there is
This-
that it's not accessible for like wheelchairs and things like that.
it is a wheelchair
It's-
building, yeah.
It's
It's too steep.
it's too steep. We've
Yeah, I agree with that, that's
We've
why.
had audits by the state, and that they found that
I
was the
figured that,
issue
you
with
know,
that. So if we build a new facility there, we could always,
Well, I hope
we could
it
always
happen in
utilize
time, you know,
that.
once it.
Yeah. But right now, I mean, we really were trying to find places on the east side and the west side, and I think we've done what we can at this point without utilizing more school locations. But I think the addition of the Badger books and maybe some adjustments to how we do registrations on election day. Perhaps we were doing them all electronically, but perhaps we could have people fill out the form, and then when they come up, we could just enter them very quickly, instead of you have to ask people a number of questions. If they already had those questions answered on the form, we wouldn't have to spend so much time going through them. That was really the thing that took a lot of time at the last presidential
Fine-tune process.
The Longfellow school, I mean, you talk about security, the school district are concerned about security, but at Longfellow, really, there is doors, that place is locked, you can come in from the parking lot, people vote and just walk up, you can go anywhere else. So why the school is so concerned about, Longfellow would be ideal, we always said.
Are there restrooms that are accessible without them going
Well-
behind the locked doors? I think that's the biggest.
Well, that's a big thing. They have to go through the door. You know, they have restrooms, you know, but you have to go through the door. So then, I mean, I could see that, you know, it's part of one of the biggest problem that they have, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's.
Okay, security remains still an important aspect of the voting procedure, I would say. Do we need a motion?
I had made the motion to.
I'll say it.
Just to hold this to the next.
To hold.
To hold
it,
it?
yeah.
All right, you made the motion. Is there a second?
Yeah, three of them.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, then we're on to resolution urging the Wisconsin State Legislature to reject Assembly Bill 610, which shifts tax burdens to homeowners to the benefit of commercial property owners. Would you, Mayor,
Madam
would you
Chair,
like
thank
to
you.
expand on that?
Sure. This was an action alert that came to us from the League of Municipalities. It's very similar to the dark store loophole that we've fought in the past. It is kind of protecting information that can be given to assessors on large, expensive properties, meaning that they would get lower assessments, and then that tax gap would be made up by the residences. So this is past the Assembly. The focus right now is on the Senate, where it is. I pre-emailed, not to put pressure on any of you to pass this, but I pre-emailed our senators today and told them that this was on the agenda and we expected it to pass tonight. But yeah, it's something we've been,
It's a good start.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Phil?
I make a motion to approve.
Motion to
I'll
approve.
second it.
Is it second? Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you for doing that. Mary
All
Lou.
right.
Thanks.
Next, we have a reappointment
Oh,
of Mayor Devine, Alderman Weigel.
guy.
Here to answer any questions you may have.
right.
I mean, I
Did you
like-
fill out an application, sir?
I have some
Rebecca
question for
Grill,
you.
To the Tourism Commission.
Can you tell us your experience with it?
A motion to approve?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Congratulations.
Carried.
I haven't signed it yet.
Wait, is that a thing about
Wait,
it?
can you do that? Is that a conflict?
Veto my own appointment?
Although we have one more left, number 48, reappointment of Robin Kidd, Mary Johnson, Judy Huddle, and Christina Lund to the Public Beautification Committee.
Move for approval.
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Motion
To adjourn.
It's been moved and
Second.
seconded.
You're going to get one of them.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.